Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you are all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And yesterday we talked about the fact that the CDL was postponing the league for the near future given the power outages in Texas. But yesterday also they did confirm what the solution is going to be. That's right, as they describe it, a super week, Monday through Sunday, 20 matches, the 10 matches that were meant to be played this weekend, plus the 10 matches from next weekend. There is a lot of Call of Duty to be played, and at the end of those 7 days, we will know the seeding for the major coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Enjoy to hear your thoughts on this in the comments section. I'd like if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you are new, as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. Let's hop into things then. Sage tweets this out, I thought was pretty funny. Me next week in the Elite, way back at, well, a classic nameless gif for way back in the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 days. This is also worthy of a mention. If you guys want to find a place where you can actually see the stats very nice and easily, finally we've updated the Breaking Point website to, well, include player stats and team stats. You can see KD leaders in different game modes and such. This may help you out in your decisions if you want to, choose draft for players or something like that, or just see exactly what is going on. All the relevant links will be down below if you guys would like to have a little gander at your own leisure. So yesterday, the Call of Duty League, actually a couple of days ago now, in light of the winter storms across the US, we will not be hosting competitions. Sorry, that would have, of course, started last night on a Thursday. They do then confirm what the solution is going to be, announcing the Call of Duty League Super Week. It's kind of funny how they, how they really marketed this, right? Because they cancelled the weekends, got a little bit of backlash for that, and then, they marketed it as a Super Week, so everyone's going to love it, non-stop action. It doesn't get any better than this, is kind of how they're describing it. And from some perspectives, it's pretty good. Maybe from us over in Europe, it's not too ideal, especially given, some of the scheduling here, it always does tend to drag on a fair little bit. I'm sure I'm going to have some late nights this upcoming week, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, we've got a lot of Call of Duty to be played. So these are the matches we're looking at. Effectively, there was, 10 matches meant to be played this past weekend, and they would have happened 2 on Thursday, 2 on Friday, 3 Saturday, 3 Sunday, and then it would have been the same thing on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the 25th through to the 28th, as you guys can see right here. But instead, they're having to cram all the matches into these days. That means 20 matches over 7 days, which means that, 6 days have 3 matches, 1 day has 2 matches, and that is going to be the first day on the Monday. So on the Monday, it's Mutineers versus LAG, and the second match of this day was actually meant to be OpTic Chicago versus Toronto Ultra. But maybe they're thinking, okay, given the fact that OpTic haven't really had too much time to practice these last couple of days, and some of the teams in Texas in general have had a difficult time, they've maybe pushed the Texas team matches back a little bit, because Mutineers, LAG, Atlanta, FaZe, and Ultra haven't really been affected by this stuff because they're not based in Texas. Therefore, they've put the OpTic match back a little bit. They're playing LAG on the Thursday, and then the final match of the day, or final match on the Sunday for OpTic is, up against the Florida Mutineers. So this is the schedule that it looks like right now. Those 2 matches on Monday, then every other day has 3 matches to finish out the week. So honestly, this has a lot of implications, right? Because there's certainly some teams that maybe would have hoped to improve quite a bit, right? Maybe they come into week 2, meant to be playing like tonight and yesterday and the next couple of days, and if they don't do so well, at least they've got a few days to turn it around in practice. However, some of these teams, there's basically no respite, right? Everyone's playing pretty much, every couple of days or something they're playing. Might be difficult to find some practice time in between the matches, and as a result, right, teams like maybe Seattle, teams like London that are looking to improve, that are looking to get better, maybe haven't had quite that opportunity these last couple of days, and they might not have the opportunity to improve between week 2 and week 3 like they would traditionally do. So maybe you'll see a little bit more that the teams will kind of have a flat level through this entire Super Week, and therefore some of the teams that are better right now may continue to be better throughout. But we'll have to see exactly who this affects, who maybe there's a positive side of things, who maybe is on the negative side of things. But certainly by the end of these 20 matches, we are going to know what the seeding is going to be for the major, and that is pretty exciting stuff. This I thought I'd mention as well, given that maybe if someone for the CDL saw it, they would decide to have a little bit of a different perspective on how exactly they run the scheduling for these matches. I'm sure a lot of you guys feel this if you're in Europe, the fact that yes, they say the matches are going to start at 3 p.m. Eastern time, as they say every day, okay, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, that of course being 8 p.m. GMT over in the UK. The problem is that, okay, look, if it started at 8 p.m. GMT, if the second match started at 9:30, if the third match started at 11, that wouldn't be too bad, right? The matches would be finished by midnight, and then I could make the video go to bed by 1:30. That's not too bad. I can get up at a reasonable time in the morning. However, if they say they're going to start at 3, and actually it's just the pre-show at 3, and then they actually start at 3:30, then there's some technical delays, and we have to have map restarts and stuff like this. The last couple of nights on the Saturday, Sunday of last week, they both finished at 2 a.m., an hour and a half behind schedule. I think a lot of people were somewhat frustrated in the UK. The fact that, okay, they wanted to tune into the OpTic match. It said the OpTic match was going to be at 11 o'clock our time. Then they tune in and it's still Rokkr going on, even an hour after the OpTic match was due. So don't, what I would say is try not to overpromise under-deliver in the sense that if you say it's at 3 p.m. Eastern, I think most sports would just have the pre-show at 2:30 and then actually start the match at 3. And maybe if you're in the States, it doesn't really affect you too much, but at the same time, like if you're going to say the match starts at X time, it would be nice to actually start it at X time. And yeah, Crone over at CDL Intel, of course, doesn't have the best time either because he's based out of New Zealand and it's a 9 a.m. start here, but crazy how the time zones work over there. But I clock into work at 8 a.m. GG getting fired next week. So obviously a lot of Call of Duty to be played. I would just, love to see a possibility at the very least that the matches actually can start when they say they're going to start. I don't think that is maybe too much to ask. But as Hex says, look, I'm so hyped for the Super League next week or the Super Week next week. Wish we could compress the matches and keep them Friday to Sunday. Hex kind of wants that like old school feel of back in the day at like at MLG events and such where you just had so many events or so many matches all at the same time. But they don't want to do a Bravo stream and therefore, it's pretty impossible to make that work at the current time. And I'm pretty happy with this format, all things considered. It's probably the best they could realistically have done. And as he says, thanks to the league for getting this all sorted so quickly. Don't know if it's being messy red or what, but this is a thanks. We voted on the decision as like the team owners or whatever to move back the matches. So shout out to the league for making it happen. Thought I'd mention this as well. Pretty big deal actually. Yesterday, Trek came out with some Season 2 preview, league play fixes, exactly what the roadmap for Season 2 is going to look like. And some frustrations here, all things considered. This is what the roadmap looks like. Some of the content's actually pretty cool in this. We'll have a look at it in a second. But as I point out right here, go on then, the Charlie Intel article that kind of breaks it down. They're bringing back a few maps, right? This is always the thing I look at when there's these new seasons. What maps are coming back? And yes, this season we had Rage right at the start, I think in Season 1. Then mid-season, they had just announced Express that was just coming through the mid-season, which, maybe they'll announce like Standoff or some slums or some other map coming back in the middle of this season. I would love that to be the case. However, they're not actually, it doesn't seem like they're doing that quite as yet. As you can see right here, this is the roadmap for the season. Some of the maps here on the left-hand side, none of them are kind of like throwback maps from back in the day. And certainly I would have loved to see something like Standoff come in at about this time, because if Standoff arrived in the next couple of months or in the next month or so, it's realistic to expect it maybe to come in by stage 3 of the season. But if it doesn't come in until like Season 3, as they're describing it in kind of the way the whole season works, for the more casual side and the Warzone side, then are we ever going to get Standoff in the CDL? It seems unlikely if it isn't arriving as of yet. And instead of doing Standoff and bringing back one of these old legendary maps, which I would love to see, I think it would play great for a number of different game modes. They're actually bringing back they've got Miami, and they've decided to make it into a Miami Strike version, so a smaller daytime rendition of the original map. This could be interesting actually, right? Because if they choose only certain portions of the map, maybe over towards where like the B bomb site is, potentially it could actually play quite well in Respawn. I'm not saying that's a guarantee by any means, but it's something to keep an eye on at the very least, because the other Strike maps, all things considered, play relatively well. This is also a big deal that Chrome points out. Trophy system has been nerfed. Reduce the amount of damage that a trophy system field upgrade can deal to players. The amount of times that I get killed by a trophy is absolutely outrageous. As I say, my KD's about to double for sure, but Chris isn't so sure about that one. And honestly, it is crazy how much damage the trophies do. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the case anymore. Maybe teammates' trophies and enemies' trophies won't do quite as much damage, which is, about time to be honest, because if you're sitting near a trophy, you're just going to get killed by it pretty much all the time. Trophies definitely have the highest KD in the CDL right now, so certainly a step in the right direction, F and Trek and the guys. But they did make some other league play fixes as well, but a lot of the league play fixes didn't really do anything, right? We've talked these last couple of days, the fact that, score streaks are a bit of an issue in the game right now. They don't work like traditional score streaks do. Also, hardpoint, no one ever seems to get it. Really interesting, a couple of you guys are mentioning in the comment section below yesterday the fact that hardpoint, it must deliberately be, not must be, but it's possible that it's deliberately set so that people don't get hardpoint, just because maybe Activision and Trek and, whoever's calling the shots over there thinks that hardpoint is a little bit complicated for new players to understand, and therefore they'd much rather put people into search and destroy, which is easy, and control, which is pretty obvious. You have lives, you have, you just have to cap a couple of points. That makes more sense. Hardpoint maybe has a little bit more going on, and is a little bit more complicated, which therefore means maybe they're de-ranking it in the algorithm so that so that new players don't get it and don't get put off maybe by the complexity, which is I don't know, that's an interesting argument. It's definitely an argument that would make sense to me, given especially people are tweeting every single night the fact that they're getting 9 controls and search and destroys in a row and no hardpoint in sight, and pretty frustrating to be honest that they fixed the trophy. They seem to be pretty responsive on some stuff, but then there's things like that which maybe they can't control and they're not allowed to deal with, or something to that effect. Is pretty unclear. player. There's also Overkill as well, alright, which is maybe, I don't know, maybe they think the casual players like Overkill and want to use it, therefore they're not going to get rid of it. So yeah, just strange to me. They're so responsive on some things, they make changes pretty quickly, but some of the major things with League Play, and they fixed a couple of bugs with League Play, but nothing major to the point where, well, it's actually going to affect significantly the experience at the present time. But all things considered, it is relatively fun still to play. This is COD League say was the Scuff Team of the week for last weekend. Huke, Simp, aBeZy, and well, Dashy, they gave it to in the end. Definitely think this is pretty fair. Maybe you could swap out Simp for someone else. Like, Simp definitely had a stellar weekend. There's no doubt about that on the FaZe team. He had a crazy KD. Didn't have quite as many maybe flashy moments as aBeZy did. I think Dashy probably deserved his spot in there as well. And just this final thing, just to finish up the video from the subliners, they seem to be doing a merch drop 11 AM Eastern time, which I imagine is relatively soon after this video is going live. But intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. What do you think about the Super Week? Are you happy that the trophy system has finally been nerfed by Trek? Maybe it hasn't been nerfed enough. I haven't really hopped on the game to see quite what has happened as yet. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm know you enjoy this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.